Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. Alright, I wanted to do a little supplemental video today and look over in some kind of detail, look over these encounter building decks. And these decks of cards are designed by Eric Bright. And I think I found out about these from the Solo RPG Guys YouTube channel. I think that was the first place I saw these. And they are available on Drive-Thru RPG, and they are on sale right now as of, September 8th. They are, I think, $8 a deck, and there is a bundle as well. And I have the 4-deck set. So they are called Encounter Building Decks. And we're just going to kind of take a look at each one. This is the printout of the rules PDF, in which Peter writes how to use the cards. He gives some good information, some examples on how he uses them. I found the instructions to be quite valuable and also pretty well written and actually kind of funny. I especially liked this note here. It says, a special note. It is easy to cheat the system by asking cheater questions, such as, do I cheat and find a cheater's Vorpal sword lying on the road because I'm a cheater? Even with a no way likelihood, you'll eventually get a yes. The best advice I have ever been given came from my dad, who sat me down one day and after a hesitant look at the ceiling, sighed and said, Eric, don't be stupid. I share this advice with you now. So, yeah, pretty cool. I have enjoyed my time spent with these, but we took a brief look at the Decisions deck in the last session of Peril of Cymbeline Isle. But let's take a little bit more of a detailed look at this now. So this is a basic Oracle deck. You can use this for any kind of RPG. You can use this for a GM-led RPG if you're the GM and you want to have some decisions off the cuff, but you don't want to just make them up. You want fate to play a part. You could use these for a number of different questions and responses and triggers and that kind of thing. So here we have on these cards, we have a standard yes/no oracle. We have a little section of randomness. We have a quest seed at the bottom, some dice rolls on the side, and some detailed adjectives and nouns just to trigger certain things in your imagination. So we have our odds of yes, 50-50. You can do a yes and to give you that kind of special added little bit of information, or a no but, or a yes but. And you have all the way down to like no way, which is pretty slim odds, to for sure, which is pretty good odds. And here in the instructions, Peter does go over, or Eric, I'm sorry, Eric does go over the actual percentages. So no way, you have about a 10% chance of yes. Unlikely, there's about a 25% chance of yes. That's a 50-50. And then likely is a 75% chance of yes, and for sure is a 90% chance of yes. So you get, you can kind of tell what you need when you draw it. You also have this randomness section, which is you can randomly draw for a difficulty for a check, and then just kind of interpret that based on the skill check numbers in the game that you are playing. You know, for instance, we are playing here with Scarlet Heroes, and the difficulty checks, they go to, let's see here, difficulty 5 possibilities. So you have trivial, easy, moderate, hard, and impossible. And so that could translate easily to simple, average, hard, extreme, and heroic for Scarlet Heroes, or for any kind of OSR, or just about any other game. You can find the number that you need and use that. You have a random direction, the cardinal directions. You have a loot or loss. So if you are wanting to generate some loot triggers or something that somebody has lost, well, you could draw this and say some of the loot, if you know, after an encounter the party gets an opportunity, or they lose an opportunity, or they get a financial loot or loss, or an emotional loot or loss. So they're kind of trigger words that you can use to further guide yourself into finding what kind of loot or loss you have. And then you also have an event section. So is there an event, yes or no? And the event type, which there are a few different event types that he uses. You have an NPC, something positive happens to an NPC, NPC POS, NPC negative, something negative happens to an NPC, a new NPC is introduced, and so on. So all different kinds of events, not just combat encounters. So pretty cool there. And then over here are just some words, some random words that you can look up. And there are 10 words. So in order to pick the word, if you don't want to pick it on your own, you can leave it up to fate. You can go up here, look at the D10 roll and say, okay, word number 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, abuse. So that could be a word that you could base something off of. And then of course you also get some die rolls. You get a D4, D6, D10, D12, and D20. And he did not include a D8 because it was hard to get a D8 to fit the odds being correct in a deck of 60 cards. So he has a way to use a double D4 roll as a D8, which he explains in here. Okay, and then finally we have some quest seeds. So the good guys have fomented a just rebellion, help it flourish. Or business has been slow lately, but maybe you can give it the kickstart it needs. Or there are lots of bad guys in that place, clear them out of there. Lead the refugees to a new home. Manage the mining of a rare ore and the complications that arise in the mine. So just a really good kind of general oracle deck to use for all kinds of different things. I really like these a lot. I like cards a lot. I like cards as a supplement, cards as an expansion to things that I am doing. So next up in the guidebook here, we have the deck of locations. And this is a deck which you will have different environments. So 4 different environments, some room details, and details about a secret door. So the environments are a building room, a small structure, a cavern room, or an outdoor area. In this instance, in this building room, we have it's a grand dome above, is open to permit the telescope a view, astronomical observatory, or a small structure. Maybe a town meeting is not currently in session, but the worn benches and call to order bell appear well used. A cavern room, a large cavern room, has medium-sized holes in the ground periodically. Will the floor hold the weight? And an outdoor area. You've reached the top of a plateau with much effort. This is an easily defended place. And then so you get all kinds of examples. Each deck is 60 cards, so you do get a lot of variety. And this is a really good way to quickly build some different locations. And then you also get some room details. So you can get up here if you want to use a room or a cavern, the number of exits, are any of them locked or are all of them locked. You get your test score or your test word to unlock them. You can correspond that with whatever difficulty check numbers you're using. And are there any stairs? And then you could say, are there any stairs? No. Or let's say that was a yes. And then you could ask, do the stairs lead up? And then no. So the stairs would lead down. Or a no but or a yes but. Maybe it could be the stairs lead up and down, something like that. And then you have a chance for secret doors. The chance for secret doors is pretty slim, I believe. This tells you whether or not there is a secret door. It doesn't exactly list the percentage for there to be a secret door, but it's not very common. But then you get, is there a secret door in whatever room you're exploring, the chance to discover it, how difficult it is to unlock, and then what is inside. So just a really nice deck to quickly generate some locations on the fly there. Now this is the deck that I'm really looking forward to using when I start doing some dungeon diving in the solo RPG, and that is the traps deck, because I have yet to find a really good table of cool traps. I have found charts of traps and their effects, but they don't really have any kind of narrative writing or good description, or it's just in Scarlet Heroes and some other RPGs, it's just like you have like 5 levels of traps, and it's really up to the GM to come up with the details. But this is a 60 card deck of traps. Each card has 2 traps on it, depending on the way you draw it. And you have a description of the trap, the kind of trap it is. And then at the bottom of each side, you have your eyeball, and that tells you how hard the trap is to discover. The gear and wrench tells you how hard it is to disarm. The running man tells you how hard it is to avoid the trap. And the voodoo doll tells you how much damage the trap deals to the players. So very cool. All kinds of neat traps in here. Like for instance, we have magical nausea gas. If I can talk. Description: a 10-foot cloud of nausea gas appears and spreads in a 5-foot radius each round. Characters must pass a fortitude test each round or else be sickened each round they are in the gas. The gas lasts 2d4 rounds. Or swinging blades. Huge scythe blades swing back and forth, impeding the PC's progress. Avoid them or be sliced and diced. So low, you would kind of just have to figure out which game system you are playing and what dice it uses for damage. So that would probably be like a d4 roll or something, or maybe a d6 roll. Another couple examples here. We have a guillotine door. The first character to pass through a doorway has a giant guillotine blade dropped on them. It resets at each round. Or a radiation room. Heavy radiation lingers in the room. For every round of exposure, characters will take 1d4 rounds of damage, but the damage doesn't start until 1d4 rounds after the exposure. The source of radiation can be discovered and shielded. That is actually kind of a cool little quest trigger there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to starting to use these. I like that it has the chances of discovering, disarming, avoiding, and that kind of thing. So really, I think this is a really useful deck. Now the last deck is the deck that I probably will use the least, and that is the combat deck. I don't know, I might, we'll see. A lot of times when I think I'm not going to use something, or I think I am going to use something a lot, the inverse ends up being true. So this is a combat deck, and it is divided into halves. On the upper half, you have details and special info. Then on the lower half, you have who the combatants are. And so you can build an encounter by taking 2 cards and turning 1 over. So then you have, so you have some minions. These minions are the common foot soldiers wherever the PCs are. So they are kind of just generic, and then you will have to kind of fit in the details. Most often they are loyal servants of the big bad guy. If in a goblin cave, they're goblins. In a castle, they're humans, etc. The number, there's a few. Their type, they have like a magic. And to discover them is trivial. They are an easy encounter. They might use focus fire, so they might all try to attack the same guy, and they will fight to the death. And then you can have special attributes. So as the PCs enter the room, a large golden disc is the focal point, but is only a distraction while the enemies attack from the sides. So it's kind of interesting. I guess probably a little more useful than I thought, because you probably can come up with some pretty neat combinations, especially given those special circumstances. So here we have minion guards. It's a few. They attack with melee. They are moderate to discover, easy or trivial difficulty. They fight to the death. They target the closest. Then also these enemies carry stones of silence, which radiate in a 20-foot radius. Carrying the stones allows them to sneak up on PCs more easily, and then stealthily throw the stones of silence towards PC magic casters to stop spells. So that is a nice little twist there. I like combat twists, and we will be exploring maybe some more complex and twist-filled combat encounters in the next session. And here we have, let's look at one more. Minions, protectors. These minions are the common foot soldiers wherever the PCs are. The group is protecting and escorting someone of importance. They fight with ranged. They are hard to discover. They're attacked. They have a trivial difficulty, focus fire, and they fight to the death. And then tactics are key for these bad guys. They don't stand toe-to-toe with the PCs trading hits. Their frontline attacks once and then moves back, allowing them the next line of troops to attack. They continue rotating to spread out the damage from PCs to keep them alive longer. So yeah, that is pretty cool. But I did just want to do a quick, just kind of a quick look at these cards in more detail, because I do think that they are worth getting if you are looking to explore solo role-playing, or you are already a GM and you just want the ability to very quickly generate some ideas without having to roll on tables. I find cards to be faster, and I like having that thing in my hand. I don't know. There's something about a deck of cards that I just really like. So those are the encounter building cards designed by Eric Bright, and those are available on Drive-Thru RPG, and it seems like right now they are on sale for about half off. So if they look interesting, go pick them up. You can also pick them up in PDF form and make your own if you're into that kind of thing. I really dislike making cards. I find it very tedious and I don't get a lot of joy out of it. I know some people really like the aspect of making all of their components, and you can save a lot of money doing that. But I like to buy cards when they're available. So all right guys, well, hope you enjoyed this look at the encounter building decks, and we will talk to you later. Bye bye.